Blast me to the mortal realms! It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer Premium Kit 4 by Hachette Partworks and Warhammer. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer video review, and today we are looking at our fourth and final premium kit. So yeah, this is our second Destruction premium kit, and it's a nice expansion to our Gloomspite Gitz collection as it adds some real muscle. So yeah, this video will probably be going out before the rest of the delivery we've just had, so issues 68, 69, no, 69, 7, 68, 69 and 70. So yeah, probably seeing this first because I like to get these out of the way. So yeah, premium kit number 4, here we go. Before I do though, I forgot, don't forget to of course like the video if you are enjoying all my Stormbringer content. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And finally drop me a comment down below which has been your favourite of the premium kits so far. While I do like a big bad dragon, I really do quite like the premium kit 3, the Carriage on Overlords one. There's some really nice units in that. Right, as I said, let's dive into Premium Kit 4. So we've got a little latch here. And here we go. So we get, of course, our Premium Kit 4 magazine. So Gloomspite Gitz, and there's a big hint at what we get. So he's big, he's mean, he's a Troggoth. So we get our bases, 3 50mm bases for our rock gut Troggoths, and a large 60mm base for our boss Troggoth. So we only get 2 kits. So our first kit here is our Troggoth Trog Boss, and our second kit is the awesome rock gut Troggoths. So let's take a look at these in closer detail. So we'll start with the Trog Boss, and yeah, he has a nice large base to stand on. And yeah, so you can build it up as a dank old Troggoth or dank old Trog Boss. I believe we build as the basic Troggoth, so not the boss. We just have the giant hammer here. The boss has this giant squiggly bug thing clenched in one hand, and has a bigger club. But yeah, it's a really nice detailed kit. Got quite a few head options, quite a few hand options as well. Extra little details to add to the model, loads of mushrooms and stuff. We even have a spider dangling off him, so that's pretty cool. Well, not if you're an arachnophobe. But yeah, loads and loads of little details to add to the model. I do kind of like that biter grub that he's I believe he's crunching it and ready to munch on it. But yeah, so pretty cool kit, and yeah, pretty good value. He even got a cannon as a necklace, which is weird. But yeah, why not? Next kit then that we get the Rock Gut Troggoths. So I actually had a box of these myself a few years ago when my stockist of over 20 years, I think, finally lost the urge to sell Warhammer stuff. They sold up pretty much everything. It was back during COVID, so they had a lot of trouble getting orders and stuff in, and they decided to just forego it. But yeah, so luckily though, at the same time, Tiverton had its own new stockist of Warhammer in the form of Bridge Troll Hobbies turning up. And yeah, so we're not exactly lost for models. So yeah, for the dank old Troggoths, you get 3 50mm bases. And yeah, our Rock Gut Troggoth frame itself. So each one has 2 different build options. There is, I believe, close to 10 different heads you can get for your models. And yeah, these guys are pretty impressive kits. So as I said, I built some of these and sold them off on eBay. I still have the leftover spares though, so not too sure what I'm going to do with them. Some of the bits are actually quite nice, the others not so usable. I might put a couple of troll heads on bases somewhere along the line. But yeah, you get your torsos, front and back. Some are in 2 different halves. We got the awesome dwarf masonry here that's being held aloft and chucked at somebody. And yeah, we got clubs which are made out of stones with fossils in them, which is pretty cool. One here which is a giant crystal. Yeah, and all in all, really cool looking models. Yeah, we'll see how they are built and painted in the magazine. But yeah, that's it pretty much. I'll flip the frames over so you can see the other side. Not much. These are the ugly sides of the frames. We do see a poor Gloomspite git there who is being flung by a troll. So yeah, all in all though, a pretty cool kit. And yeah, so you have different heads, and then each one has different faces that you put on it. You have different heads as well, which are 2 halves. And yeah, all in all, you have a really nice personalizing kit here. Right, let's take a look at magazine and see how it tackles these guys. Right, here we have our 4th and final premium kit. So expanding our Gloomspite Gitz collection, we see what we get. So we add some muscles in the form of the Dankhold Troggoth. We also add Rotgut Troggoths. We have build and paint guides for our Troggoths, our war scrolls, and we have a special mission to play to fight them. Oi, yeah, what? Not the brightest of things, Dankhold Troggoths. So, Dankhold Troggoths are colossal lumbering figures. As they stomp to battle, the ground shakes under their enormous feet, and their oversized fists grasp gigantic stone and wooden weapons to crush the foes. So, as you can see, he's pretty much a breeding ground for mushrooms, if you can have such a thing. He's a pretty big brute. Yeah, has barnacles growing over him as he spends a lot of time sleeping in dank, dark places. And yeah, don't want to upset one of these when they're sleeping because they can throw quite the tantrum. So we've got, zoom out a bit, I'm a bit too close. There we go. We've got his origin, which you can get parts of his name, and his characteristics, which you can get the other part of his name. So yeah, pretty cool. Just roll a d6 and take your pick. And then we got his great deeds that you can perform. Yeah, and we've of course recorded his name. We also get Rotgut Troggoths here. So Rotgut Troggoths are stone-skinned creatures whose thick hides gives them the resistance to magic spells as well as more common threats. In battle, they favour using boulders and clubs as weapons. So we can see possibly this is how we're going to be building our guys. So we got a small club and a stone. We got the giant rock with crystal in it, and we got the giant double-handed club with a crystal head there as well. So again, we got our origins table here. So we also got a name, and we also got their tactics there as well. So we can put our name there. So for example, Thumpers. They like to thump. And yeah, we've got our great deeds we can do for fighting in battles. We see them facing the Karajan Overlords. In the background, we've got some river trolls, which were another type of troll you could get in the old Gloomspite Gitz army of orcs and goblins back in fantasy days. So we have our build guide. This focuses on, of course, building all our models. So we're building a Dankhold Troggoth. So I believe most of it is the same build methods if you want to build the boss. So it's the same torso, legs, etc. up to a certain point, and then we add in the differences. So we've got the different heads you can choose from for our Troggoth. Extra little base details, so you've got some stalagmites, mushrooms, etc. Then we've got his club, and you've got a choice of 2 heads, either this giant stalagmite or this rather heavy looking bit of boulder there as well. And yeah, that's it. He's a pretty simple kit to build. There's not too much difference between him and the Trog boss. Just double check the official store, of course, to find out how he goes together, if you want to build him. Moving on, then we have our Rockgut Troggoths. So we build the legs, which is the only bits that aren't changeable, but you can change the torsos between the different leg sets, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we build our 3 sets of legs and leave it at that. Then we build our different torso parts. So pick and choose which torsos and arm combinations you want, and up to you then how you go about building them. So we got right and left-handed body parts. So here we have the one carrying the cow, or possibly goat, it's hard to tell, over his shoulder there. Pretty cool. We've got one with a open-handed grip, one with a small giant bone with some spiked rocks on it for his left hand, a simple left-handed stone or your left-handed grot there, another club in his left hand here, which is made out of different crystals, big club on his right hand there, and again an open-handed one there. You of course have the option of the throwing rock Rockgut Troggoth. You can choose either the dwarf masonry or the crystallized rock features there. And finally you have of course the option of having a 2-handed massive maul. Then again, another interchangeable piece for each model is the neck joint. So we have 1, 2, 3 different neck joints, and then we have 1, 2, 3 different necklaces. And then yeah, next up is another interchangeable part. So we have heads. So we have 9 different heads to choose from. Each one is nice and characterful, has a different sort of look to it. I like this one here, which is sort of like a surprised look. His ears are up, but he's a little bit disgruntled. I believe that's the one I used to go with the poor little Gloomspite Git in the hand. So I had the Gloomspite Git, and then I gave him a club sort of raised up, ready to crush the Git. But yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. And then it's up to you really how you push the components together and make your models. They suggest these 3 here, so the 2-handed maul, the small rock and club, and then the giant rock there. But yeah, you can build them of course however you want. They are a beautiful kit that goes together quite nicely. So moving on to our painting guide. So we want to look at first painting our Troggoth. So instead of starting with Backnar Burgundy, we're starting with a nice lighter / grey. First off though, we want to base coat everything with Wraithbone, and then we can start picking out our colours. So painting all of the skin with / grey, then we're going to start glazing over with Backnar Burgundy. So you want to thin your Backnar Burgundy down quite a lot and then slowly build up the colour, going from light down the bottom to the dark up the top. You can then reapply and glaze back in / grey on the under softer skin, so all around here, the underarms, etc. And we're also going to use / grey as a actual hard highlight on the sharper folds in the flesh there. For our Rockgut Troggoths, we're doing the same. We base coat it with Wraithbone, then we're using Techless Blue, dry brush of Wraithbone all over the underside before filling out once we know the areas with pure Wraithbone. Then a glazing back in of Techless Blue just to blend the flesh into the skin again. Then we're using Cantor Blue to glaze over the more solid stony parts before using Techless Blue to highlight the sharp edges. Use Wraithbone again to highlight all the smaller bits of muscle and scarring. And then we're picking out all our smaller details. So we got the cannon around the Troggoth boss neck there, as well as his earring made from a Stormcast or Moon Clan symbol there. Corax White for the mushrooms, as well as all his barnacles there. Catch and Flesh for the loincloths, wood weapons, wood armour, and other leather bits on our Rockgut Troggoths. Abaddon Black just for a bit of variance there, so we don't have brown on brown for the wood and leather. Dawnstone for the rock that he's throwing, as well as the weapons on the clubs, and some of these small little stone talismans. Corn red for his inner mouth, Wraithbone for the small fungus and ropes, as well as teeth and the grot skull and all these other grot bits here, as well as his toes. Corax white for any of the crystal details, Catch and flesh for the ropes, corn red for some variant in leather again, auric flesh for any leaf details, avalanche sunset for the eyes. Then we're on to our shades, so Nuln oil on the wood, black, red, and even the barnacles there. Agrax Earthshade on the Runelord brass for the cannon and the stony details. Phonian Camera Shade for the plants. Griff Hound Orange for these fungi growing up the weapon here. Skeleton Horde on all the bone details. Ryken Flesh Shade on the fleshy loincloth underside, as well as the eyes. Griff Charger Grey on the rocks and crystals even, and the mushrooms. Stormhost Silver to highlight the metals. White Scar to highlight the Corax White and the mushrooms, as well as the flayed skin there. Finally, also White Scar for the tips of the teeth and the rocks. Baylor Brown to highlight the fur and leather of the loincloths and leather straps. Night Crystal Flesh to help differentiate the wood from the leather. Picking out the vines around the rock as well. Finally, Wraithbone to highlight the mushrooms. Dawnstone to highlight the black. Squig Orange to highlight the red, including the tongues. Ogren Camo to highlight the green. Corax White to dry brush the rocks, and then basing as we normally do. And then we have our finished galleries, so front and back, and for Rockgut Troggoths front and back. And I must admit, they do actually look quite nice. I believe I did mine slightly differently. I think I ended up with a little bit of a lighter colouring to the flesh, and yeah, definitely did a darker glazing to the backs. But there we have it. That's pretty good paint, guys, anyway. I must admit, I didn't like the way they painted Molog, but I really do like the way they painted this guy. So, yeah, moving on then, we have Dankhold Troggoth's datasheet and Rockgut Troggoths as well. So he just has a Colossal Boulder Club, so no real ranged abilities, but he does have regeneration, so he recovers wounds. He's resistant to magic, so he can ignore the effects of a spell on a 4+. He has Squiggly Beast followers, so at the start of the combat phase, roll a 1 dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability. If the roll is equal to or greater than the number of models in the enemy unit, they suffer a mortal wound. And he also has a Crushing Grip. At the end of the combat phase, pick one enemy model within 1 inch of the unit, roll a dice. If the roll is equal to or greater than the wounds characteristic, remove them all. So that's pretty cool. And of course we've got the Rockgut Troggoths, so they have regeneration as well. They have a 5+ stone ward for their stony skin, and they can throw boulders. So they also have the massive stone clubs for their melee weapons. So there we go. And we've got, of course, some tutorials on their abilities, etc. Then we have our exclusive premium kit mission, so Unstoppable Force. So the armies is a Lord Imperator with a Griffhound and 4 Praetors facing off against a Dankhold Troggoth and Rockgut Troggoths. So we use all 4 mats apparently, but we only have very small armies. So place the battle mats 1, 2, 3, and 4 in a rectangle below. Place an objective marker on each of the 4 locations shown below. Next, take it in turns to set up scenery pieces. Until 8 have been placed, you must place each piece more than 3 inches from another. First, the order player deploys their units within their deployment zone, then the destruction does the same. First turn, destruction gets the first turn. Special rule to arms. So at the beginning of their hero phase, each players pick 1 unit from their collection to add to their army. So there we go. That's why we start off small. We actually expand our force. Each player, this unit must be deployed anywhere in their starting territory that is more than 9 inches from the enemy units, but treated as a summoned unit. Victory points, so we score 1 point for holding 1 objective, 1 point for 2, and 1 point for more than the opponent. 5 battle rounds, player wins when they have slain their opponent's units. Alternatively, battle ends at the end of the 5th round, and then you total up. So it's either a fight to the finish, or fight to the highest victory points. Right then, I'll bring it back in, give you my final thoughts on this final premium kit. So there we have it. That's the final premium kit for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer. And yeah, it's actually a really good one. So individually, the kits are £40 for the Rockgut Troggoths and £47.50 for our Dankhold Troggoth. So £87.50 all over, and we pay £40, I believe, over the 20 issues that this premium kit will be covering. So yeah, half price pretty much. So you're basically getting a free Dankhold Troggoth for the price of the Rockgut Troggoths. The magazine, as with the previous magazines, has been really nicely done. So no lore / model pictures as such to show off. It's pretty much straight into the data sheets for our 2 new units. And then the build and paint guides. And the paint guide is actually really good. As I said, I didn't quite like the paint guide for Molog. But I think they've done a really good job with the Dankhold Troggoth. I probably would have done a little bit more white in places. Perhaps dry brush up some Wraithbone to pale him up a bit. Because he looks like he's been out in the sun a bit too much, which Troggoths don't like the sun, so yeah, definitely would have done with a paler complexion, I think, to sort of match up with the actual sort of skin colour here. Also, it looks more purple than the background burgundy would have done. Yeah, probably could have done with a different purple, but it is what it is. Great magazine, great models, great price. So yeah, like I said, this is the final one. So we've had our 4 now. We've had 2 for destruction, which is the Maw Crusher with the Mega Boss, and of course this one, Gloomspite Gitz. So 2 for the smaller factions, I suppose. Well, actually, the Gloomspite Gitz is actually a pretty big faction within the collection, as you get quite a lot of models. And yeah, for the Order, we had one for the Stormcast, which we added Krondis, the Mighty Dragon, and we also had, of course, the Casual Overlords, which added a small gunship, as well as 2 new units, one a character, one a unit of floaty boys. So all of these have been really quite good quality kits, and yeah, I'm looking forward to putting my 2 together. As for this one, it's off to Marcio to expand his Gloomspite Gitz collection, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy these. I know I would. But anyway, there we have it. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below as usual. And yeah, until next time, stay safe and happy hobbying. Goodbye.